Hi, everybody out there. This is Mike Fiffick. I'm the owner of Fiffick Legal Group, and we are a law firm located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we've been a provider law firm for a legal services organization called Legal Shield for about 24 years. And I'm talking today primarily to small business owners out there and invite you to rethink access to legal services, and in doing so, to improve your business and also the lives of your employees. So I talked about a little bit about Legal Shield. I mean, Legal Shield is an underwriter of group legal services. They sell legal service plans that provide access to your employees to legal services, telephone consultations, document reviews, letter writing, will preparations, some civil lawsuit defense, traffic citation, representation. These types of benefits are sort of the nuts and bolts of what Legal Shield provides access to. And they contract with a provider firm in each state, and those provider firms provide services to all of the members in their state. We've been pleased to be associated with Legal Shield now for 24 years, and it's been great. We help a lot of people every day with a variety of problems that really impact their lives and create a significant amount of anxiety, all of which can visit itself in the workplace. And that's really why this is something that's important for you to consider for your business and for your employees. So each of your employees, you may be surprised to know, has about 2 or 3 unmet legal needs right now. Maybe you do know that. Maybe your employees bring their problems into the workplace. That's not very uncommon, but there are a lot of unmet legal needs out there that your employees have and in their families that you may really not be aware of at all. And unresolved legal needs create a lot of instability for your employees and tend to make them unreliable. You know, if they're dealing with credit card collection cases or unresolved child support or divorce or domestic related issues, or maybe some criminal matter, maybe not even their own, but maybe a child or somebody in their family, that stuff all creates a tremendous amount of stress in their lives, and it just invariably visits itself into the workplace. So I want to talk to you a little bit about these unmet legal needs, the impact that they have on your employees, and the benefits to your business by providing access to a solution, and talk to you a little bit about what we do for Legal Shield members and how a business plan can, for yourself, for your own business, can actually help you work more on your business rather than in your business. So there are these unmet legal needs that I introduced earlier, and I have a variety of them here. They're financial and income instability issues. They might have credit card disputes, debt collection, bad credit history, poor or inexpensive auto insurance coverage, household income. You know, all of these create financial instability, and that can be a tremendous problem for families. Driver's license issues, you know, unresolved traffic violations, license suspensions, car registration issues. These are just sort of the basic things that mean the ability for your employee to actually get to work, or if your employees need to have a valid driver's license to work, it's really important for you to make sure that these types of things are taken care of, or they give them an opportunity to have these things taken care of so that they can either make it to work or actually do their driving duties on your behalf in a way that complies with law. Housing instability issues are big issues out there, whether they're rent disputes, mortgage disputes, evictions, foreclosures, surprising amount of property disputes with neighbors. Those can be particularly distracting for your employees. So a lot of these things are floating around out there in your employees' lives. Domestic instability, divorce, separation, custody, domestic violence, special needs children, educational disputes, guardianship issues. These are all things that people deal with, and they're really surprisingly common. And then finally, criminal matters, whether they're DUI, drug possession, assault, motor vehicle violations. You know, I group all of these in there, and they're not necessarily your employees' problems, but maybe their spouse, their significant other, or their kids are having these types of issues. If it's in the household, it's going to likely impact your employees. And how it impacts your employees and then your business in turn, it reflects in absenteeism, punctuality, not showing up on time, reduced productivity. We've also had employees who are probably spending more time on their cell phone dealing with their issues at work than they are at work, or they're researching things online at their computer at their desk rather than doing work. So that stuff is not terribly uncommon. Perhaps they have poor quality of work because they're distracted. And if your employees are stressed out, have anxiety, or distracted, or dealing with problems, that's going to reflect itself in how they treat your employees and your customers. And so your customers may get reduced service or a less happy employee dealing with them, and it's going to ultimately hurt your business. And the real damaging aspect of that is, in so many instances, you never know, right? The employees, the customers that actually call you and report a customer service issue are doing you a favor. They do us all a favor. I'm a small business person myself, and I really appreciate when customers let me know that they have had an unhappy experience with some aspect of what I'm doing for them. But so many don't tell you. And the ones that don't tell you are the ones who will never come back and use you again. And they will also be very willing to tell other people in the community that they've not had a good experience with your business. And that's just very, very damaging to all of the things that you do to try to grow your business, and especially for businesses that rely on referrals. So they can also have distracted or strained work relationships amongst your employees. That's the last thing that you want to have. And then these may ultimately result in increased turnover. Turnover is just a very expensive, soft, hidden cost to businesses out there. It takes your time to find new employees. It takes a lot of time to train employees. You invest a lot of money in them, in training them. You want to keep them around and have a stable workforce that's ultimately associated with profitability. So you want to connect your workers with some type of a solution that can help them get potential solutions to these legal problems. If you do, you're going to have more stable, reliable employees. Believe it or not, they will be healthier physically and financially. There's a lot of studies that have gone on in the last 10 years or so that connect social determinants to health, right? And a lot of these things that I'm talking to you about, housing instability, financial instability, domestic relations instability, those types of issues adversely affect your employees' health. And getting them some type of a connection to a solution to these problems is going to improve their health. Studies show that when folks have these issues dealt with in their lives, they are going to be healthier. And that means they're going to show up to work more frequently and be more productive while they're with you. Connecting folks to a solution is going to reduce their stress and anxiety, reduce absenteeism and turnover, and probably going to make happier employees, and happier employees are going to make happier customers. And that's what we're all shooting for after all. So let me tell you a little bit about what we do. Legal Shield sells Legal Shield memberships. We just provide the service, but we deliver that service via telephone-based consultations. So Legal Shield, the telephone consultations with attorneys in my office. The average number of years of experience of my attorneys is about 18 years. We've got folks who have been there, done that, seen the inside of a courtroom, and understand what's going on. Legal Shield members can initiate the request for service on the phone, as I had mentioned. They can initiate it through the Legal Shield app, email. We communicate with folks in lots of different ways in order to get them the advice that they need. But primarily, it's telephone consultations with folks with a lawyer on our phone. And these are just some of the lawyers that are working in my office that would be interacting with Legal Shield members on a daily basis. They have a lot of experience doing things. Last year we took about 53,000 calls, so that's about 200 calls a day, and we handled over 30,000 requests for legal services. And very importantly, we completed 1,400 wills. So if you're a Legal Shield member, you get a will, a financial power of attorney, and a health directive or a living will as part of your membership. It's so important to get estate planning and powers of attorney done, especially these days. It's a very valuable thing for folks to have to create that stability for their family in the event that they're called home and they don't leave a mess for others to deal with. The top areas of law that we handle for Legal Shield members are estate planning, consumer finance related matters, whether they are disputes with credit card companies, disputes with vendors, collection cases for debts or foreclosure, things of that nature. These consumer finance or unhappy, they've been unhappy in the customer service that they've received from companies, have billing disputes, things of that nature, stuff that they would be spending time on the phone while they're at work. They can talk with us and we'll take care of that stuff for them. Real estate matters, family law, all those domestic relations things, traffic citations. We will send a lawyer to represent them at a traffic citation so that they don't have to show up. Again, that's another day that they don't have to take off. One of our lawyers will appear on their behalf. And then criminal related matters. The one thing that we will not handle for a member that has a legal plan that is made available by your company, or we will not handle legal matters that involve you as the opposing party. So your employees cannot call us to get advice about matters relating to their employment with you. That is something that is not part of the plan. We try to do the best possible job that we can for folks. We're very focused on customer satisfaction, and we gauge our customer satisfaction in two ways. We use the Net Promoter Score guide, and if you're familiar with that, and the Net Promoter Scores of Legal Shield provider firms are easily in the mid 50s to 60s range, and that's a very high NPS score. And I've got some NPS benchmarking by industry here, so we're ahead of consulting, right around digital marketing agencies, but much higher than financial services, healthcare services, construction, software, a variety of other industries. People are typically very happy with the service that they receive for us. We also use a member satisfaction gauge, and that is regularly in the high 80 percentile range. So folks are very, very happy, by and large, with the services that they receive. Legal Shield also underwrites business plans, and I would highly encourage businesses out there to consider getting a business plan. And the primary reason, and I'll say it because I'll ask this question of you, do you suffer from the tyranny of the urgent, as a business owner? The average business owner spends about 68% of their time working in their business, which means tackling day-to-day tasks, putting out fires, and only about 32% on time working on their business, right? Long-term goals, strategic planning, building their business, finding new customers, improving the work that they do. Those are the things that business owners really want to do, right? They want to do. Ben Franklin, I'm a big fan of his. He's got a couple of great quotes here for business owners. The first is drive thy business or it will drive thee. So driving your business is working on your business, working on those long-term strategic things that grow your business, that make your business better, that increase its footprint and its profitability. Having your business drive you is having your role being working in your business on those day-to-day tasks, putting out fires, those types of things that are never going to get your business to the next level, right? Sometimes you have to do some of that, but really the goal would be to decrease the amount of time that you spend doing that and increase the amount of time that you can spend working on your business and growing your business. Ben Franklin also is famous for his saying that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that is really so true. The time and energy and money that you spend proactively on things in your business are returned to you tenfold whenever you are not having to just deal deal with things on a crisis management basis. When you're working in your business, time wasters, unscheduled communications, responding to emails, administrative tasks, waiting on information, dealing with personality issues. These are the types of things that you don't really want to be spending a whole lot of your time on. And if you had a Legal Shield plan, you can offload a lot of this stuff to your Legal Shield provider law firm, right? You can consider the law firm as a business consultant or as an advisory board. There are a lot of businesses that would love to have a business consultant on staff, basically for a very, very low monthly fee, or an advisory board. You don't have to be doing these things all alone. We're out there as a sounding board for you to help you make informed decisions about things about your business. You don't have to guess. You don't have to go online and pour through FAQs. That's a time waster for you. You can instead just pick up the phone and make a phone call to an attorney who is not going to charge you for that time, and get some legal advice, get some business advice to assist you in growing and making your business better. If expense were not an issue, here's how we can help. So again, I'm inviting you to just reimagine using a law firm. If expense weren't something that was in between that decision to you using and getting the benefit out of the business. Your organizational documents for your business, we can clean them up and finish them. A lot of businesses have incomplete organizational documents. I get folks calling me all the time because they have an urgent need for their certificate of organization or operating agreement or bylaws or some other key document. And usually it happens whenever they're borrowing money, or they're selling real estate, or they're entering into a lease of some kind. And those are the times when you're going to be asked for those documents. And it can be the difference between getting the loan or not getting the loan if you can't produce those documents quickly. We can talk with business owners and help them with tax and business structure, right? Reduce taxes on your business and your family, right? Bring in additional business owners without giving away the store, or control. We can help business owners figure this stuff out and really grow their business in a way that's intelligent and achieves their goals. We can do a lot for businesses to mitigate risk. If there's one thing that most folks talk to me about whenever they form a business, is they want to protect their personal assets from risks that arise out of their business. And it goes well beyond forming a corporation or an LLC. That you haven't checked the box if you've done that. There are a lot of things that you need to do as a business owner on a regular basis to protect your personal assets from liabilities arising from your business. And a lot of things that business owners really don't realize. Employee issues. This is one of those that can impact your personal business, but a lot of businesses have employee issues. Hiring, wage and hour compliance. A lot of business owners don't realize that if they fail to comply with the wage and hour rules, and there are many of them, and they are complicated, and many business owners think that they understand them, but they don't. There are a lot of urban legends out there. If you fail to do that, you can be personally liable for unpaid wages and penalties for your employees. A lot of business owners don't realize that. That's something that we can help you avoid. We can do a lot for business owners with contracts and reviewing leases and compliance with consumer protection laws, vendor agreements. There are a lot of personal liability issues for business owners that are in vendor agreements that are hidden, that they sign off on. It's not that infrequent that I get called by a business owner who's being sued by a vendor or somebody, and their business is being sued, and they've been joined as a defendant in a lawsuit individually, where they're being their personal assets are at risk, and it's oftentimes arising out of a vendor agreement that they didn't spend enough time looking at or negotiating. And then we can help business owners comply with all of the rules and regulations that are governing their business in their state. Another big issue that we can talk to business owners about is succession and contingency planning and disaster planning. Businesses don't spend nearly enough time working on this type of a thing. And it's not something that most business owners want to think about, but it's really something that they need to think about. And I think they don't spend a lot of time on it because they don't know how to start to think about it. I mean, it's a complicated thing to think about. Don't know how to do it. I mean, there's no business owner that's going to know how to do succession planning naturally. Rare is the person that would have a good idea. Maybe you're handing it off to a child and that you push the easy button. But even then, you still have to do some planning in order to hand it off. Maybe you've got one child in the business and another that's not in the business, or more than one that's not in the business. How do you treat everybody fairly? It's important to spend a lot of time on this because you're going to spend a lot of your time and energy building that business, right? That's really where your wealth is. And in order to get the most out of that, you want to have a good succession plan so that you've positioned the business to hand off, whether it's in a sale or to another generation or maybe to your employees, but hand it off so that you can continue to reap the economic benefits of building that business after you've decided that you want to retire. And my final pitch for business owners to consider getting a legal plan, right? Getting a legal plan is that if you do and you use it, you're going to have better work-life balance, improved quality of life. There'll be reduced burnout. You have improved personal relationships. Lay some of this stuff off on somebody else, the things that worry you. You don't have to worry about these things unnecessarily. God knows there's enough to worry about in this life. But do yourself a favor as a business owner